Number 1, new climate legislation could easily double or triple your electric bill. Number 2, our new energy czar wants to control how much power your electric company allows you to have. It's true. Total government control of electricity in the name of smart grid technology is coming. Number 3, in some areas of the country, the power grid is dangerously overloaded. And now, new socialist legislation is only compounding the problem. Number 4, dangerous weather is always a threat to local grids. Every year, thousands of families lose their power from weather-related outages. Number 5, a solar power generator provides powerful backup insurance and peace of mind. Folks, I really believe in the solar power generators offered by Solutions from Science, one of my oldest sponsors. You can get more information at www.mysolarbackup.com. That's mysolarbackup.com. Remember, the government doesn't own the sun, so go to mysolarbackup.com or call 1-877-327-0365. Webster Tarpley on the North African situation, really a fourth war, not a third as the media is calling it. U.S. Army kill team in Afghanistan posts for photos of murdered civilians. Der Spiegel is reporting that Obama is working behind the scenes to try to suppress the photos and get them removed from Der Spiegel. Get them all up on Infowars.com, guys, right now. Just unbelievable photos. Look out if you don't want to see what looks like about a 10-year-old who's been murdered in plain clothes, in jogging shorts and a T-shirt, with U.S. troops posing over their white-tailed deer, I guess. They think that they've basically been hunting. This is the type of stuff that we're dealing with. And, of course, Der Spiegel's only releasing some of the least horrific photos. But we're going to be talking to Dr. Tarpley here in just a moment. Before I go any further, I want to thank some of the sponsors that make this broadcast possible. One of them is Diamond Gusset Jeans, celebrating 25 years of made in America, high-quality regular jeans and motorcycle jeans and other apparel. You can get up to $55 off your purchase right now with a special they're running. Check it out at Gusset, Gusset, Gusset.com/sale. By the way, they've promoted and bankrolled the production of an amazing country music CD, and the hit single, Looking for America, went to number 17 on the country charts, the big country charts. So you can also get that CD there. Go to Gusset.com/sale. It's all about getting factories and business here in America, Gusset.com/sale. Also, MySolarBackup.com. I believe in decentralized personal solar. I'm putting it in myself. High-quality solar systems, very inexpensive. Been sponsored for 4 years with this product. The listeners love it. MySolarBackup.com, or give them a call with any questions or to ask for a color brochure, 877-327-0365. They have it ready and available. Very inexpensive, very easy to use, 877-327-0365, MySolarBackup.com. And finally, PureWaterFreedom.com. I want to tell you about this great Made in America line of whole house, tabletop, under the sink. If you want to affordably remove fluoride from your tap water, visit PureWaterFreedom.com. They have a full line of household fluoride filters. You can even remove fluoride from every water source in your home with a whole house fluoride system. They have a wide variety of filters to remove all types of toxins from your water, including shower and bath filters. All their filters are made in the USA, which will anger globalists. Check out their banners at Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com to take control of your water supply today. That's PureWaterFreedom.com or Gusset.com/sale or MySolarBackup.com. And also the purchase of books, videos, and T-shirts and the rest of it also funds our operation. If you believe in what we're doing, most revolutionaries rob banks and things to fund themselves. I know the founders did. I don't. I sell products, books, videos, things I believe in, and we hope you'll support us. Going now to Webster Tarpley, who's written the unauthorized biography of Barack Obama, George Herbert Walker Bush, and who 3 years ago, before Obama even got in office, said this will be the kamikaze model of playing states off against each other, funding CIA, MI6 groups to try to overthrow the Muslim nations, because this has all been stated as their plan, then coming in with air power behind them to back them up. What does this signify that Germany and Turkey have broken away from NATO? What does it signify for the first time ever to have the UN issue the order, and in less than 48 hours, about 26 hours, attacks to be launched with no congressional involvement? We're seeing some big moves here. What does it signify? Webster Tarpley.
Well, I would say, first of all, that the fact that the NATO and Obama have had to use military force. They've had to bomb Libya back into the Stone Age with massacres of civilians. This is a defeat for them, because their plan had been to use the model of the color revolution, the CIA people power coup, the National Endowment for Democracy putsch from behind the scenes, to do this all without military force. That was what they were able to do in Tunisia and then in Egypt. And, of course, the reality is that there's a military coup going on behind the scenes, and then you have this clown show of street demonstrations that the media try to say is actually causing it, whereas, of course, it's not causing it. It's just window dressing. Something like this is going on in Yemen today. There's a military coup behind the scenes. Some top general and a tribal leader have turned against the president of Yemen, and you have street demonstrations. But the reality is the coup. Now Obama is obviously embarrassed. You can see the sneaky, cowardly way that Obama started this war. Obama does not have the guts to give an Oval Office speech and look the American people in the eye.
Like George W. Bush did.
Yeah, even George W. Bush was a very blunt aggressor. He was an imperialist aggressor, and he made no bones about it, and he looked you in the eye and said, I'm an imperialist aggressor. But with Obama, it's all deception. And we have this charade going on. The U.S. is obviously the leading edge of the attack. The 125 cruise missiles fired in the night between Saturday and Sunday. That's the main guts of this attack. But instead, we have the British and the French in some way in this charade, this dumb show, where they pretend to be the leading edge, and of course they're not. The French were able to get, I think, all of 15 aircraft over Cyrenaica, over Libya on Saturday. That's pathetic. But the U.S. cruise missiles are the ones that are doing the work. And now I think what you're seeing, though, because of this attempt to have propaganda showing the British and the French in the lead, this is going to lead to military chaos in the command and control structure. Because you already have the following situation. The Italians say, we will not allow Britain and France to use these critical bases, Sigonella in Sicily and elsewhere. We want the NATO command to do this because we're Italy. We're not subjected to Britain and France. We are part of NATO. But then the French say, no, we can't do that because we have these Arab puppet states that we want to participate. We have Qatar, the Al Jazeera base.
And by the way, a lot of them are starting to back out right now and having reservations because of how bad it looks at home.
Right, and that's it, the Qatar and the United Arab Emirates. Now, today in Cairo, we had a meeting of the Arab League, and of course this Amir Moussa, the head of the Arab League, had been out in front demanding a no-fly zone, but this is a guy who wants to be president of Egypt, and he can see that the Arab street, the Arab marketplace, is now turning against the U.S. once again and against NATO because of this massacre that's going on. So we had this.
And even if they don't like Gaddafi, you got to root for the underdog.
Well, they don't like imperialist aggression, and Gaddafi is looking better and better by the hour. We had Ban Ki-moon, the U.S. puppet who is the UN Secretary General. He wanted to go to Tahrir Square and strut and posture and preen himself as a hero of democracy. And the Egyptian protesters have finally done something good. The Egyptian protesters are finally fighting the imperialists instead of acting as their tools. They wouldn't let Ban Ki-moon make his triumphal tour of Tahrir Square. And as you mentioned, Germany was never in this. They have tremendous doubts. The Turks are not happy. The Italians are the least happy of all, but they're so weak that they don't know what to do. Interestingly today, Putin says the UN resolution is, in effect, a medieval call for a crusade against Libya. And Putin has drawn the lesson himself. He has ordered the doubling of Russian missile production so they can see the handwriting on the wall. Naturally, the fact that Russia and China did not veto this monstrosity last week in the United Nations.
They abstained.
This was not a profile in courage, to put it mildly. They could have stopped it. They should have
Well, Webster,
stopped
let
it.
me stop you there. Why are the globalists moving in such a naked way now? What is triggering this?
It is the war on the nation state itself. If you look at Tarpley.net or my Twitter feed, Webster G. Tarpley, I go through this question of all the countries in the Middle East are looking for a way to get out of the Anglo-American plantation. They don't want to be subjected to the United States anymore. In order to do that, you've got to make a deal with Russia, which Saudi Arabia had been doing. You've got to make a deal with China. That was the path chosen by Algeria, by Pakistan. Or you make a deal with Iran, and that was what Mubarak had been doing, and many others. So in order to get out of the empire, you've got to turn to some other power source, and that basically comes down to Russia, China, and to some degree, Iran. The U.S.-British answer to that is, well, if we can't control these puppet states anymore, these satraps or viceroys of our empire, we will destroy them. So you can see what they're going for. Sudan has been carved into two parts, mainly to prevent the Chinese from getting the oil in South Sudan.
That's their bare minimum in Libya. They want to break it with their group in the east.
And breaking it in this case means, in the case of Libya, it means an attempted return to tribalism with the tribes of Cyrenaica against the tribes of Tripolitania, the east against the west.
So that's the post-industrial tribal balkanization model.
Call it tribalism, call it warlords. It's the destruction of the nation state. So, in effect, if you want to defend human civilization, you have to take your stand in defense of the modern nation state. Not with the secessionists. You can see what it is, right? The guys in Cyrenaica are the secessionists. Yemen is being carved on a north-south axis. Pakistan, the whole goal of that guy, Ray Davis there, that he's accused by the Pakistanis of being a terrorist controller dealing in nuclear materials for a radiological...
But what triggered them to do something this dangerous? You've always said as the dollar starts to die, they were going to start a war to basically threaten everybody.
Well, if you look, I go through, I have a grid in this article that I've done on Tarpley.net. You go through the grid, and you can see that all of these countries, Algeria has got 40,000 Chinese workers building things, right? What do the Anglo-Americans offer? The Anglo-Americans come in there and they say, free market, free trade, deregulate, privatize, bust your unions, break up the state sector, IMF shock therapy. And, of course, that means you're going to be destroyed. And the West also then says, we're also going to meddle in your internal affairs under the...
So the bankers are declaring war, basically, on everyone. We're going to put your article up on screen from Tarpley.net. We're also going to post it. We forgot to do that at Infowars.com right now. Marley's doing that. But I mean, so this is a desperation move, is it not?
Yes, it's essentially a simultaneous assault on the nation state. All across the world, and the leading edge is WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks last week published new documents proving that the president of Indonesia is corrupt and bribed. And you can see they're going through the entire CIA hit list is reflected in the choice of documents that come out with WikiLeaks. So WikiLeaks, I think, is clearly exposed as a CIA limited hangout self-exposure operation. But the targets of this are the governments that they want to overthrow. So it has parallels to the revolutions of 1848. You can see that in some other stuff that I've written. But the idea is to have a wave of destabilizations that leave